Hey everyone, Joe Waxman here. And in this video, I want to look at the conjunction of Jupiter and Venus. So guys, before I begin, don't forget to hit the like button, please, if you can, and subscribe if you haven't already. Class is on January 14th. All right, I'm skipping this Sunday. So I'm gonna probably do 2-week intervals for the class just so people don't get bored or sick of me or whatever. In any case, all right, what is Jupiter and Venus conjunct? So Jupiter and Venus are the two benefic planets. They're the two most the two planets that give the best results, the most success, the most rewards, luxury, expansion, wealth, all these things. So Jupiter represents philosophy, religion, higher education, general success, expansion of things, high-mindedness, generosity is what keeps us kind of exuberant and positive in life. Venus represents luxury, wealth, money, voice, indulgences, joy, the things that make us happy, relationships. For men, it represents women. It's a very feminine planet. Arts, aesthetics, creativity, beauty. So all these things. And when you put them together, it becomes very excessive, very indulgent. Each one is supporting the other. You know, when you have Venus conjunct a planet or Jupiter conjunct a planet, it tends to make that planet better, more successful, because these are benefics, right? But when you have them together, it's like two people pouring each other drinks. They get drunk, right? They're just like, you know, falling all over the place with kind of laughter and excess and indulgence and all that kind of stuff. But it tends to make great comedy, great philosophers, singers, and is very kind of overly like beautiful people, excessive kind of, you know, indulgent, everything, you know, in that area, whatever house and sign it's in, right? So let's look at it. It's going to behave very differently depending on what sign and house it is. But I'm going to go through each sign, and we'll get a taste of all of them. So Jet Li, first of all, I got to say that this is a moon chart. It's actually, there's no time, because for whatever reason, hold on, let me make sure that I'm doing this right. For whatever reason, there's no good Aries combinations, at least that I could find with an accurate birth time. But Jet Li does represent Aries and this combination very well. I mean, first of all, when we looked at the Jupiter conjunct Mercury, a good example of that was Steven Seagal. And these are both martial artists. And Aries, you know, represents, it's ruled by Mars. It's very physical, aggressive, fighting, right? Mars is in fellow fire sign of Leo. So this is, you know, great representation. Plus Jet Li, you know, number one, he's a badass. Number two, there's something very soft and sweet about him, right? And that's kind of his charm. Unlike Steven Seagal, which was it was Jupiter and Mercury in, no, I'm sorry. Steven Seagal was Jupiter conjunct Sun in Aries, right? I forget who's Jupiter with. Hold on, let me check. Oh, it was, yeah, Quentin Tarantino and Maria Sharapova. Well, Quentin Tarantino was Jupiter in Pisces. Maria Sharapova. Okay, so all three are athletic, you know, very physical. So Jupiter in Aries tends to make that, especially when combined with other planets. A very physical, athletic, fighty kind of person. But yeah, the Jupiter and Venus is very sweet. And Jet Li, even though he's like super quick and like such a badass, he's also has like a really nice, there's something really nice about him. And that's the Jupiter and Venus conjunction. It's it's kind of, there's a softness, a sweetness to it, an excessive quality, but in Aries it's going to be, really, really kind of aggressive and sharp. And again, this is not his, this is just the moon chart. And when I don't have a birth time, the best thing I think is to make a moon chart. I wasn't doing that yesterday, but I was thinking about it. I was like, I should have made it moon chart. The moon chart's going to give you at least some good information. Next best to ascendant is moon chart, where you put moon right on the ascendant, and that'll give you a good relationship to the planets, because the ascendant is the most personal point, moon is the second most personal point. And maybe I'll make a video about that one time, just looking at moon charts. But right now you can just get a general feel for, and it still works, right? Saturn's at Aquarius and domicile in the 10th house, Jupiter and Venus in the 11th house, right? So yeah, and then Sun and Venus are in mutual reception here, so that's quite good. Well, mixed reception, because Sun is exalted in Aries and Venus domicile in Taurus. But yeah, all right, so that's Jet Li, that's Aries. And the other Aries combinations are Meek Mill and Robert Oppenheimer. Meek Mill, I guess I don't really know him, but I heard of his name. He's like music guy. I'm not sure even what he does. In any case, Robert Oppenheimer was the founder of the atomic bomb. So interesting combination, right? You'll see a lot of singers with this combination, because Venus rules Taurus, which is the voice, and Jupiter expands that. So next, we'll go to Eric Burdon. Eric Burdon was the lead singer of the Animals, famous, rock band of the 60s, 70s, House of the Rising Sun. He's still alive, amazingly. Like, I kind of would have expected him to be dead, not because, not in a malicious way or anything, but because it's, from what I heard, he was big into drugs and alcohol. So it's amazing that he's alive this long. But in any case, huge Taurus stellium, and this is the best I could do. The other person was Richie Valens. Richie Valens, if you don't know, sung La Bamba, right? Hispanic singer, but he died when he was 17 in the historic plane crash that killed Buddy Holly and Big Bopper. They call it the day the music died. But yeah, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, and Jupiter all tightly conjunct, and Sun and Saturn in Taurus, which Taurus we know rules the voice, right? It's the second house. So is that not perfect or what? Square Mars in Aquarius, right? It's pretty intense. And then trine Neptune. So, and then this is all conjunct Algol. So you might think, like, if you have any trepidation about Algol, most malefic star in the sky, Algol, well, Eric Burdon's still alive, and he has had an amazing career. He does have a debilitated moon, but yeah, go listen to his voice. You'll kind of get an idea. It's very like soulful, deep, profound, wild, rich, authentic, strong. Yeah, there's probably a billion words you could attribute to his voice, but it's kind of rough and rustic, but powerful, bluesy, and deep. But yeah, it's not pure Jupiter, Venus, but let's see, that was hard to find. The other one was Richie Valens. And so, like, yeah, you'd think maybe there'd be a ton of people with Jupiter, Venus who were famous, but no, apparently not. So, and Richie Valens was born May 13th, 1941, so 3 days later. So same stellium in Taurus. So that definitely creates strong voice. And it's fifth house, because of the angle, fifth house Sun, the sixth house. So in any case, fifth, sixth, combined in Taurus. Yeah, and then if you could look, Jupiter is ruling the ascendant and the third house, and I mean, Venus is ruling the MC and the fifth and sixth house. So, that's all coming together. But obviously, singing is going to be very strong for this combination. Let's move right along. So Gemini. Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails. Now they were popular when I was a teenager. However, the only song that I can think of when I think about Trent Reznor and the Nine Inch Nails was I wanna fuck you like an animal. And that's pretty related to the Mars, Pluto, Uranus conjunction, Virgo, square the nodes. I mean, that's super intense. It's trying the ascendant as well. Like he's kind of a tough guy, I don't know, tough guy, but like edgy, very edgy, right? And that's partly because Capricorn ascendants are always appear kind of tough, but then like is Mars exactly conjunct Pluto, and then 3 degrees away is a stationary Uranus. It's very shocking, very aggressive. Ninth house. Oh, and then you bring me closer to God, right? That's okay, eighth quadrant, but ninth, coming up on the ninth cusp, right? Activating the ninth cusp. So sex and God, doesn't get any more clear than that. But anyway, the Jupiter-Venus conjunction, that's in Gemini. Venus is dispositing the Sun and Mercury, and there's a mutual reception between Mercury and Venus, right? So that's going to be quite strong. Jupiter is bonifying that, the Sun and the Mercury. Jupiter is dispositing Saturn, which is the ascendant lord in Chiron, third house. Saturn's ruling the second. So, like he's not a great singer, but he does have singing ability, and he has strong writing ability with Jupiter, Venus in Gemini in the fifth, sixth house, right? Fifth house, but it's also coming up on the sixth. Sun is very much fifth house. Jupiter, Venus is fifth, sixth. So like, entertainment, performance, but also like sixth house, which would be more like writing and editorial kind of stuff. But Jupiter and Venus are very artistic, creative, and expansive in that arena. So like great for songwriting, right? Venus is ruling the 10th whole sign house. Jupiter's ruling the 12th, right? Third and fourth. So from young age, right? Yeah. Jupiter is going to expand these things, and Venus, they're pouring each other's drinks. So it's pretty evident, I think. All right, the other people in Gemini with this combination are Chris Novoselic, who is the bassist for Nirvana, and Eddie Furlong, who is the most notable role was the child actor in The Terminator. Okay. Let's move right along to Cancer. Jerry Garcia. I love Jerry Garcia. He's, even if you don't love him, I mean, it's just factual. He's one of the greatest guitar players of all time. And such a talent, right? Such a long-lived career in the Grateful Dead, lead man, guitarist, singer, songwriter. Brilliant character. Jupiter's exalted, right? Conjunct the MC. All the planets are direct. So when all the planets are direct, there's a certain kind of smoothness that you get because nothing's going against the grain, right? It's just forward. And if you just listen to the Dead, it's just like, it's like butter. I mean, it's just pure, what can I say? Pure beauty, guitar, that kind of, you might not like, some people don't like that kind of thing, but like, it is what it is. It's so flowy. It's just it's like, flowers and butter and romance, and I mean, not maybe not romance. Romance is not one of the things, but like Jerry Garcia is just so smooth. In any case, Jupiter's ruling the third house, so skills of the hand, guitar playing. This is guitar, don't you know? I'm teasing. Sixth house for writing songs, excellent. Pisces for creativity. Venus is ruling eighth house, interesting. Grateful Dead, dark themes, right? As beautiful as his music was, there was the dark theme, dark element, and Venus is also ruling the ascendant. So it's making him super, conjunct the MC. It's like super famous, plus the whole 10th house, Sun in Leo. I mean, come on, this guy's loaded with amazing, planets and combinations. Super successful, right? A lot of drugs, that would also be eighth house. But Jupiter, Venus is just it's just luxury. How else can you say it? This is like pure butter, right? With exalted Jupiter conjunct the MC. Right on. No need to deliberate. We all know how great Jerry Garcia is. All right, so the other people in Cancer, the other charts in Cancer, one main one worth noting is the U.S. Declaration of Independence, which is the Sibley chart of the United States. It's basically the astrology chart of the United States. Jupiter and Venus in Cancer, right? This combination, exalted Jupiter, right? Bonifying the Venus. It's so, I mean, that's one of the reasons why America is what it is. And Cancer is such a loving, protective sign that it's like, oh, we're gonna, bring us your huddled masses, however it goes, like we're just taking on all the immigrants of the whole world, basically, because it's that Jupiter and Cancer conjunct Venus combination. It's so like, it's like we're the mother protector of the world, right? A bit too protective, if you ask me, and a bit too mothering and a bit too accepting, but that's another story. Mussolini, which amazing. I mean, I guess the people loved him at some point until they hated him. Blaise Pascal's another one. He's a scientist, I think. In any case, let's move along. Alrighty. Dave Navarro. Dave Navarro is the guitarist for, or he was, Jane's Addiction. He was also on, he was the host of Ink Masters. And so Dave Navarro has the dark look going, the black hair and the eyeliner and all that. And is it surprising at all that he's got Pluto and Uranus conjunct his ascendant in Virgo, same as Kurt Cobain, and I believe the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, but Kurt Cobain had it worse. He had a lot of planets in Pisces, and better and worse. But in any case, this is iconic, right? Just so, and it's always amazing. Like, astrology never fails to show, the true nature of a person. Sun and Moon conjunct in Gemini, conjunct the MC. Amazing, brilliant. Again, skills of the hands. Gemini is very skillful. And then Venus and Jupiter in Leo. And that's also has a hard aspect between mostly Pluto and the Sun. Yeah, interesting. There's a square between Sun and Pluto, also makes them very dark and, powerful, controlling, but it's not so good, the squares to Pluto. Interesting. In any case, Jupiter and Venus are conjunct in Leo, and it gives them that kind of like, I don't know, confidence, excessive confidence, boldness. It's a very big combination, big, bold, showy, loves the spotlight. Venus is ruling the second house. He's not a singer, which is interesting. But Mars is in, maybe because Mars is in Libra here. Let's see, fourth house, seventh house, and ninth house in the basically 11th, 12th house. So interesting combinations, right? Fourth house for early success, seventh house for, relationships and just, general. Seventh house is great for all kinds of things because it's other people, and it's, that's going to make other people like him a lot, right? And then ninth house for well, I mean, adventure, travel, high-mindedness, philosophy, religion. For writing songs, that's also going to be quite good. And then 11th house is career success. 12th house is, creativity. This is a very creative combination. I'm just curious. Let me just check here, see what's going on. Out of bounds moon, out of bounds Mercury. Mars is slow. Oh, mutual reception between Moon and Mercury. I forgot. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't even see that. That's strong. Yeah, so interesting, mixed. I mean, and like, the career we can see right here, Sun and Moon, Moon and Mercury, and this Venus Jupiter is quite excessive, over the top kind of quality. But there's some things holding him back, I think. The second house, Mars in Libra is okay. Let me check how fast it is. Curious. Yeah, 12 days. It's not that slow, but all right. So yeah, that's Dave Navarro. Interesting. All right, let's move right along. The other person in Leo that I found was Faith Hill, and she's a like R&B singer, I think. I don't really know her, but Faith Hill. I want to say she was Biggie's girlfriend, if I recall correctly. Let's move to Virgo. But just to reiterate, I think there's this quality of like this very excessive Leo quality with Dave Navarro that you can kind of feel through all the darkness and heaviness. Just this bold over the, like, Leo is so full of itself, so vain, so pride, so egotistical. I mean, this is going to boost confidence tremendously, and just, yeah. Leo has a very deep confidence. It doesn't always need to like exert itself over the top, or Gemini does, but in any case. All right. We're going with Carrie Fisher. So Carrie Fisher, obviously Princess Leia in Star Wars, that's her most famous role. And she did act in other roles, but she wasn't like, I mean, her main claim to fame was Princess Leia in Star Wars. And Jupiter and Venus are going to have a difficult time in Virgo because neither one do very well. They're both exalted in Libra, but interestingly enough, there actually are a number of successful, famous Jupiter, Venus in Virgo. Why? It's difficult to say exactly why, because neither is in great dignity, but probably because Jupiter and Venus are helping each other. right? And it gives it some tension. And Virgo is so smart and clever. In any case, let's look at it. Jupiter is ruling the second cusp. Venus the fourth. Venus the ninth, and Jupiter the 11th. So second and 11th are very strong always, because if you combine them together, because that means money. And if you're making money, you're doing well, in worldly sense. And Jupiter and Venus both represent that. So I think like somehow, even though it's in Virgo, it's still like quite strong to have Jupiter and Venus together. Like they're just both benefics. They support each other, and it provides some polarity, and great for creativity stuff, because like the drama is always does well in creativity. However, just to bring in Larry Ellison, who's a mogul, he's one of the richest men in the world, also has this combination. We don't know the birth time, so I can't tell you about his houses. But yeah, so not just for acting or creative things like that, but let's see. So but she does have a very strong 10th house, North Node in the 10th house. Sun's debilitated in Libra, but it is very prominent. It is actually square the ascendant, so that's very, very high in the sky, very much still 10th house. And Sun conjunct Neptune, which is acting, even though it's out of sign. So she's definitely an actress, right? And I just want to check. She's here to see what is going on her chart. See, Venus still gets high scores. Oh, because there's a mutual reception between Venus and Mercury. So that's quite strong as well. Mutual receptions do create a lot of, good things. And they're pretty close by degree, so that's a pretty good one. And let's see, what house is Mercury ruling? Mercury's ruling the 5th house. That's great for acting. And the 8th, interesting, the 8th. So she can play some dark roles. And I think Princess Leia does fit into that, because there's that, first of all, the Virgo quality, for a woman who will, represent something kind of pure and pristine. Virgo is very good for that. And then 8th house for the, the darker element in Star Wars. In any case, I can definitely see this Jupiter Venus is very luxurious. Virgo is very puritanical, and definitely for a woman, this seems quite strong for. If you just squint, if you can just feel like a sort of Princess Leia quality here with Venus and Jupiter. This luxurious, but virginal at the same time, right? Uptight, but smart, clever, capable. Yeah, in any case, it's super interesting. It is ruling the 2nd house of, speech. And yeah, 5th house, entertainment. And I already went through this. 9th house and 11th house, right? So career success, all right. Yep, she died at 60. So let's see what that's all about. That's not very. Her moon is in good dignity, but it's conjunct the South Node. Moon's ruling the 6th house. Perhaps that's why exalted moon, 4th house. So young, success when she's young, because South Node moon, exalted moon. But South Node moon ruling the 6th house. That's as she gets older, that's going to be difficult. Plus, there's some difficult aspects on the moon. Square to Pluto. That's really. But it's not that. It's actually square the nodes. So maybe that's it. Interesting. Anyway, square the nose and the conjunction to moon. In any case, let's move along. In Virgo, Demi Lovato, who's a singer, and then she became kind of butch. Demi Lovato. She was more feminine and pretty, then she became kind of butch. Roman Polanski and Larry Ellison. I didn't even look up who Roman Polanski is, but he's somebody famous. It's like a famous director or something like that. But Virgo has that quality of, behind the scenes, very analytical, sharp-minded, organizational. All right, let's move along. All right, Libra. Matthew McConaughey. Now Matthew McConaughey just feels like such a Libra, and I already went through his chart. I did his chart, read his chart, but he's the only one in Libra that has a good birth time. The other ones are Freddie Mercury, who you can see, like you can just feel that Jupiter and Venus conjunct in Mercury. Very strong Venus for men can make men gay. Doesn't always, but it can, right? So Freddie Mercury, Sean Combs, Puffy Combs, Diddy, and Stephen Fry, who's like the annoying British talk show host or whatever. But yeah, Libra is like, okay, so Venus obviously is domiciled in Libra, so we're getting like this, the smile, the excessive looks, the charm. It's the fifth house, entertainment, fun, games, performance, right? It's just so excessive, and it's like so charming, and it's like, he's like the kind of guy that could sell ice to an Eskimo, right? Just smile at them and just, charm them, and just be, this excessively, Libran character. Yeah, it's kind of sickening, but I mean, he's good at it. So all right, so Venus is ruling the fifth house. Jupiter's ruling the seventh house, so people love him, right? Jupiter's ruling the 10th whole sign house, not a cusp here, and the 12th. So just perfect. I mean, he's just got it. He's got it so good with this combination, like just charming and, good looks, and he can get away with anything, basically, so much. Yeah, that's really interesting. Venus is in Libra, Saturn is in Taurus, which is also Venus domicile, and Saturn is exalted in Libra. So there's kind of a mixed reception here between Saturn and Venus as well. Saturn's ruling the MC and the 8th and 9th house, but he's also very religious. That's interesting. But yeah, like you can just feel that the excess that's coming from this Venus conjunct Jupiter tightly, exactly the same degree. It's just coming, exuberating out of his, this is like overflowing from his face, from his smile, his excessive charm and beauty, and like good looks, and magnetism and fun, and kind of it's like so too much. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn off that bright light, Matthew McConaughey. It's too much. All right. Go to Scorpio. Chill it out a bit. Darken the lights. Spielberg. And I spelled it wrong. Let's do that. Even Spielberg. All right, he's got it in Scorpio, and for drama, excellent, right? Moon's debilitated here as well. Venus, not so good here, but again, like that Virgo combination, Venus and Jupiter are just, you know, I mean, it seems to do well, even in difficult signs, right? Just because they're supporting each other, and it makes, great drama, intrigue. This is fifth house, so for movies, that's excellent. Dark, heavy, intelligent, psychological. So let's see what else. So Moon is ruling the ascendant. Venus ruling the fifth house, so fifth in the fifth, even though it's out of sign. That's quite good. Jupiter's ruling the sixth, so for writing, so fifth and sixth. Fifth for like all the entertainment, drama, movies. Sixth house for the real writing. Then sixth house is great for that. Third house is great for writing, but sixth house for all academics type stuff, in hard work and just being very productive, being behind the scenes. Sixth house, very good. Jupiter is ruling the MC, and Venus is ruling the 11th whole sign house, but not a cusp here. So yeah, that's really good. Let's check here. Mars is out of bounds. Venus is quite slow. That's quite good. And yeah. See, Venus gets terrible score here, -10 per grind. But Jupiter helps it out, and that just creates drama for writing movies. It's like when you have a planet that's in poor dignity, that's good, because then you're getting like that very dark element within your creations. So this is super dramatic too in Leo, right? Leo is a very creative sign, very strong for any sort of arts and performance. Saturn conjunct Pluto is so heavy and intense, right? So his in the second house for his like his ability to like his voice, right? They say in like if you found your voice, right? That's second house, when you find your voice, right? It's different than third house. So his voice is very intense, very dramatic, very serious, very heavy. It's a lot going on here. Trying Mercury, so he can express that deep drama and intensity very well. Mars is exalted in the sixth, moving into the seventh house. Right. But yeah, this apparently is excellent for making movies. Right. So anyway, Jupiter and Venus are it. I think it's going to do well in no matter what sign, any sign. It's just concentrated, benefics. So it's going to have a positive influence wherever it is. The other ones in Scorpio are Ethan Hawke, Gianni Versace, so the fashion designer Gianni Versace, and Taraji B. Henson, the cookie on Empire show. She's an actress. And I like that show. I watched it. Let's move right along. Michael Hutchence, lead singer in Excess, died young by suicide. Apparently, you never really know when they say somebody dies by suicide, because maybe they were onto something that they shouldn't have been, and Hillary Clinton, they get Hillary Clinton. You guys get it. You know what I'm talking about. So lead singer in Excess, singer songwriter. He was also an actor, hugely successful. They were just like in the 80s. They had so many hits. They were such a mega band, and he was the star. And look, he's got his son, 0 degrees Aquarius, but right conjunct the ascendant. So along with Mercury does excellent right on the ascendant. So yeah, he's a star. He's a superstar, right? and he's got Mars and Saturn. Mars is exalted, Saturn is domicile, Jupiter, Venus. Jupiter is exactly conjunct Venus. Jupiter's in domicile. Jupiter is ruling the third sign, third cusp, third whole sign house and cusp, for writing. And then South Node is also here. Venus ruling the fifth, Venus ruling the MC, and Jupiter ruling the 12th. So for creativity, arts, performance, career, that's all fantastic. He did have Scorpio moon conjunct Neptune, so a bit of a drug and alcohol problem, likely, right? Probably, right? But very creative, very deep, passionate feelings, intense. This is excellent for career, for acting, for recognition, fame. But then as he got into his upper 30s, North Node, Virgo, activating this Pluto, 8th house, and Uranus, 8th house as well. It's kind of cascading because North Node is activating Pluto, 8th house is still activating. This is right on the 8th house cusp, it's still activating this. And then, Uranus in the 8th house, Pluto in the 8th house, that's difficult. It's very difficult, but also Virgo. So yeah, it's going right to him, his ascendant. Mercury's also ruling the 6th house. Let's see, what aspects are there? Yeah, there's a square between sun and moon. So Neptune, Venus, just very indulgent. And I think this is just activating the 8th house. In any case, you can see that Jupiter and Venus are bringing great success, along with some other things. I mean, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, Sun, right? South Node, not Chiron. Oh, but there's a bad aspect between Chiron and North Node. Yeah. But yeah, tremendous success and what's so funny, in excess, Jupiter and Venus in Sagittarius are excess, right? Is that any coincidence? Do you think that's really a coincidence? Venus is ruling the MC. Excess. Of course, he's so excessive. Drugs and alcohol in excess. He's got such a powerful chart, but he's just like drowning in excess, right? Excessive looks, excessive talent, excessive everything, excessive drugs and alcohol. He's like too successful. And the girls loved him, right? He had tons of affairs, tons of girlfriends. In any case, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. Pluto, trine Mars. That's powerful, for sure. An exalted Pluto, exalted Mars, sorry, conjunct Saturn. That's intense, though. It's very intense. And in the 12th house, that's pretty extreme behavior, for sure. It's in Capricorn, but still, I think, Mars conjunct Saturn is there's a lot of energy, a lot of intensity there, especially trine Pluto. It's just like too much energy. All right. Belushi. John Belushi. Amazingly funny guy. SNL, also died young. Drugs. So Moon is in the 12th, but it's still close enough to the ascendant that's going to really help with his expression. But also in the first house, any planets in the first house are going to add to the expressive quality of, especially of the physicality of the physical body and of the face, right? So Venus conjunct Jupiter, even though it's in Capricorn, they're so tightly conjunct, and they're both in poor dignity here. Jupiter is debilitated. Venus is, well, no, Venus is okay in Capricorn, but it's not great, right? It has a hard time expressing itself. But the poor dignity actually is good for comedy, right? Like if you take example, Lucille Ball, Moon in Capricorn in the first house, and she's always like, eh. It's that kind of thing, that negative expression on the face. And he does that. He does like this kind of like almost like slapstick equality, where it's like, you know, the joke's on him, but he's making it funny. You know, great at impressions, but you know, like planets in debility are great for comedy and you know, a kind of negative creativity, if that makes sense. But 50, look at this, 15 degrees, Pluto in conjunct Venus, Jupiter, I mean, in the first house, square Venus, or yeah, Neptune in the 10th whole sign house. South node is 0 degrees Scorpio. I mean, Neptune's drugs and alcohol, but also acting for, so that's great for acting. Yeah, square this, square these planets in the first house. So the expression is, I mean, it's intense, right? With the Pluto and the Neptune, but amazing at the same time, right? And then Venus is ruling. All right, so Jupiter is ruling the 3rd house, so expression. Venus is ruling the 5th house, creativity, performance. Venus ruling the MC, 10th house. Jupiter ruling the 12th house, again for movies, excellent creativity. So you can see here, this is very, very, you know, great for kind of creative expression and negative quality, you know, making like, you know, like, I just like he, you know, he can make angry things funny, you know, like the samurai, you know, he's like cutting things and he's just hilarious, right? Let's look at his sheets. Mercury is super slow. Moon is way out of bounds, like super out of bounds. Mercury is basically stationary. So that's another one of his amazing talents. So Mercury's in the 2nd house, so his voice, his expression, Mercury rules expression. It's basically stationary. It's conjunct Mars. Really interesting. Aquarius is hilarious. Aquarius is absurd and hilarious. Right. So yeah. It's John Belushi, and obviously the Neptune and Pluto in a difficult aspect to Venus and Jupiter. Planets, you know, if it's planets in the 1st house, that's going to influence the ascendant and the self. So it doesn't have to be the ascendant ruler. It can just be the ascendant, the planets in the ascendant for to have an influence on the self. Right. Mars opposite Pluto, that's also very destructive. Right. Mars is the exaltation lord of the ascendant. So you also have to look at that. In any case. I think that's it. All right, let's move on. Jerry Lewis. I mean, if you're old like me, you know who Jerry Lewis is. If you're young, you may not know, or you may know him from Jerry's Kids, Jerry's Telethon, but he's hilarious. Jerry Lewis is a top-notch comic slapstick actor, and it's primarily due to Jupiter and Venus in Aquarius conjunct. And so this is a little bit similar to Jupiter and Mercury in Aquarius, as we see with Jim Carrey, right? So Aquarius, again, for the absurdity, we saw that with John Belushi. Aquarius is hilarious. Jupiter and Venus is so excessive, so over the top. Like Jupiter and Mercury is for expression. Mercury controls expression. So the expression is going to be like every Jupiter and Mercury is gonna, they're just like loud, obnoxious, like, you know, verbose. They could probably talk a mile a minute, or just like endlessly talking, and they're just going to be like so expressive. Jupiter and Venus is similar, but it's more actually the voice, right? And the luxury, just excessive luxury, like right, candy, sweet, butter, right, ice cream, that sort of thing. And just in Aquarius, even though it's in the 8th house, which is weird, right? It's hilarious. But he did a movie called Jekyll and Hyde, and that's very much 8th house, Jupiter and Venus in 8th house. And that's also very much who, he is in real life, because he has this exalted Mars conjunct South Node in the 7th. Like, he was also a badass, like, and he was also really aggressive. And he, like, he was also like this kind of like boss man who you do not want to get in his way. You do not want to get him angry, even though he's a Pisces, and Pisces conjunct Uranus. He's like extremely sharp. And Uranus is also very funny and electric, right? So it gives it that kind of, it's very, the Aquarian vibe. And if you watch him, you know what I'm talking about. He's just like goofy as can be, right? And then Chiron is squared Mars, so he's like Mr. Cool, but Mr. Weird cool at the same time. Yeah, exalted Moon, very strong 10th house, 9th house. And let me just check the sheets here real quick. Mercury's very slow, so is Venus. Okay. Saturn. So why was he into Jerry's kids? Saturn and Scorpio. And then let's see the nodes. Interesting. Moon. I'm not, well, interesting. Chiron in conjunct Saturn. Maybe it's because it's trine. I'm not sure why he got so into like this charitable, okay, well, first of all, South Node Mars in the 7th, that's very selfish, kind of. Mars, it's like very aggressive, very much about like, Mars is ruling the 10th whole sign house, and the 5th, interestingly enough, Moon, so Pluto, Moon, so Moon in the 10th, but 11th, let's call it 11th. So very caring. He decided to be much more caring, right? So, and then 5th, Saturn. So he's into helping kids. I'm not sure. I think that's probably why. Yeah. And then Pluto is conjunct the ascendant. I'm not trying to read his whole chart. Pluto is square Mercury. It's kind of hard for me not to. 4th house. In any case, this is hilarious. Super. Let's see. Jupiter is ruling. Venus is ruling the 4th whole sign house. So early success. Jupiter is ruling the 6th. So writing, behind the scenes, hard work. Jupiter's ruling the MC, dispositing the Sun in Uranus, and then Venus is ruling the 11th. On the 8th. And that is interesting, the 8th house. Definitely behind the scenes, power, control, authority. 8th house, 6th house and 8th house. 6th Lord in the 8th house is quite good, right? Because it's 2 malefic houses, they end up being quite good. And that could also be related to why he was so charitable. 8th house is about shared resources, so it can be where criminal activities seen, like theft and whatnot, but it can go the other way too. Sharing, if somebody has a lot of resources, they can share their resources, or they can share other people's resources, which is what Jerry Lewis did. He was, hosting a telethon and raised tons of money for like, what is it, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, something like that. Kids with diseased kids. right? Also Sun and Uranus is trine Saturn, and in the fifth, it's Scorpio. Right? So Scorpio also having that eighth house quality. I think he just became very, this North Node in Cancer, he just became very motherly and protective and caring. And well, there's this grand water trine, and it's a kite actually here. And so yeah, this Saturn being an older person really just moved him to give Scorpio, shared resources. So interesting. Fifth house kids, right? Any case. Yeah, also, so in Capricorn. Well, let's go back. I think I forgot to mention a few things. George Gurdjieff is Sag, Jupiter and Venus. George Gurdjieff is an Eastern philosopher, a spiritualist. So like Jupiter, right? Jupiter and Sag, philosopher, right? In Capricorn, Scarlett Johansson, RuPaul, Kid Cudi, Kim Wilde, who's a singer, and Steve Perry, also a singer. So Kid Cudi's a rapper, I think. Yeah. And then, Scarlett Johansson, RuPaul. So also John Belushi. And then in Aquarius, Axl Rose, Jennifer Jason Leigh, she's an actress, Jerry Lewis, Tom Waits, singer-songwriter, James Dean, actor, and Seth Meyers, comedy writer for SNL, and he's also a performer. All right, now let's move into Pisces. Beckham, Victoria. No. Oh, come on. I put in Victoria Beckham. Yeah, I must have not saved it. Let me try again. I didn't save it. But she's the last one. We'll just go to here. Maybe I didn't even put it in, but anyways. Victoria Beckham. She's super successful, right? Posh Spice Girls are like the most albums sold for an all-female band group. In any case, something like that. But Sun in Aries. Let's see. So Jupiter is domicile in Pisces, Venus exalted in Pisces. They're both conjunct the MC. I mean, that's like super duper successful, plus an exalted sun, right? Can you get any better than that? Well, maybe, but I mean, it's tough. Her career is just like glittery glitterama. It's like superstardom, music, fashion, beauty, TV, movies, all the above. It's just like gushy, gooey, glamour, glitterati, money and success and fame and all that, right? Venus is ruling. I mean, so fourth whole sign house, but fifth. So fourth, fifth. So early rise and creative performance and things like that. And then Jupiter is ruling the sixth, so that's good for behind the scenes and stuff like that, working hard. The ninth, but the MC, and it's not the 11th cusp. Well, it is it's mostly the 11th house. So career success, groups, networks, fame. I mean, it's just like gobbledygook, excessive, it's just like butter with sugar on top and sugar mixed in and some glitter. All right. What else can you say? It's just like, I mean, Jupiter is in domicile, Venus is exalted. But what's surprising is that, okay, so the other famous person who has this is Jenna Jameson. Jenna Jameson, I believe, is a porn actress, right? So you can see like the Venus quality, the beauty, the excess, the indulgence, right? Pisces, very sexual. I mean, all the water signs are quite sexual because it's water, you know. But let's see. There's not that many really successful. Maybe it's just like too over the top. I don't know why. Like in fact, there's a lot more Virgo and Capricorn, well-known famous people with this combination than in Pisces. Maybe Pisces is just like just, you know, like just too much gobbledygook. Maybe it's just like too much excess. It's just like overflowing, and it's like hard to, you know, it's not. It's like just eating sugar and butter, cream and whipped cream and sugar and butter and some sprinkles. This is not that good. I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. But in any case, I mean, Victoria Beckham is super, you know, excessive. But in my book, there's no real authenticity. It's not really. It's just like posh spice. It's like pop, you know, bubblegum. In any case, that is Jupiter and Venus conjunct. It's just like so excessive, so over the top. It actually does better in some of the harder signs like Scorpio, even Virgo and Capricorn. But overall, it does well in all the signs. I mean, Cancer does great. Yeah, all of them do really well. So, yeah, that's it for now, guys. And I hope you liked it, and please hit the like button if you are able to. Doesn't cost you anything. You know, just go click the like button, and leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Come to my class on January 14th, and just hit me up in an email. What else? Book a reading with me. My website is macroastrology.com, and my email is macrogoldmachine@yahoo.com. So I will see you again tomorrow. I will be doing Jupiter conjunct Moon. That is a great combination. Really successful, powerful combination that everyone loves. All right. See you soon. Bye.